That's how I hit on girls in the bar.
In life, have you ever done something that in the end you were like, why did I ever do this? It doesn't benefit me at all? Well, I know I have lots of times. Drucker says, there's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. By that, I took that you shouldn't be doing stuff that isn't pretty much what you should be doing, because in the end, it's not going to benefit you in any way. I know I've had this problem with school, work, and life in general. I mean, with school, you get a syllabus for teachers' classes. So I was sick one day, and instead I just did what was on syllabus, not thinking to ask anyone in the class. Well, I ended up doing like 7 pages of work, writing like a 5-page essay, thinking, oh, that's what's due. And I get to class the next day, and that none of it was due at all. I turned it in to the teacher. She's like, this isn't even what it is. And ended up having to redo everything. So I did all this perfectly, hoping to get a good grade, and it was useless. Had nothing to do with anything. It was pointless, so I had to redo everything again. With work, me and another coworker decided we'll organize all the areas around us to make it beneficial for us, thinking that it'll make work faster, we'll be able to do things easier. Well, in the end, our managers decided they wanted to change the entire look of everything that was in our area. So we spent all that time working on changing it so it was better for us when our managers changed it to benefit them afterwards. So we spent all that time and it was just thrown away for nothing. And then my third point is me and my friends, we planned out all these things to do over summer break, and in the end, we ended up having to take it all away because every plan was foiled by either work or family events. So we planned everything and we did everything to the T, and it all was just thrown away for nothing because we didn't plan on the other stuff as well. So what Duffy said was, there's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. So by my points of work, with doing stuff that didn't need to be done, and with school, doing things that didn't need to be done in life, everything was just pointless because it was all wrong in the end.
All right, Chelsea, several things that work pretty well. The rhetorical questions, the attention device is fine. I think you've got a reasonable thesis statement for the topic that you have. You've got an okay preview of what the structure is going to be, and during the speech you stick to that structure, so that helps quite a bit. You've got okay examples on each of the points. They don't always develop in the most interesting ways, but they do make the point that you were trying to talk about, and you provide enough detail on them so that they seem substantive, so I thought that that worked pretty effectively. Your voice at the beginning, I think you're projecting pretty well, and you've got pretty good energy, but boy, in the last minute or so of the speech, it just feels like you got bored and tired, and I want to be done, and so that's it. You know, it just kind of drops off there. So what was, probably one of the more solid scores that you had got dinged a little bit there because maybe you just lost your ambition during the presentation. There are a few good indicators while you're speaking. A couple of sort of sweeping gestures while you're also talking. They're okay. facial expressions, you look animated, you look like you're involved. Again, at least again for the first 2.5 minutes of the speech. Maybe in the last 30 seconds, there's a little bit of a problematic imagery going on there. The body movement, that's where your anxiety is all coming at. You got nervous feet, you've got dancing feet, and sometimes you're up on toes, sometimes you're back on heels, and you're constantly shifting from one foot to the other. You just look like you're uncertain. Plus, you're as far back as you can possibly get without being behind the screen. So, you know, we won't bite. Well, you know, Jimmy might bite a little. He's pretty far forward, but you know, the rest of us wouldn't. And I think it would do you well to maybe step forward and emphasize some points while you're speaking. You've got a pretty solid conclusion. Like I said, I think it's undermined a little bit by the delivery there at the end.